Well, basically, what's the what we are going to try to explain in as simple as we can, because if you have a process and you're not able to explain it, but basically you don't have a process. It's what happens when, for example, a feature is required by an NRO, how the backlog is prioritized, how we determine what kind of feature are most needed by the people and which ones are not. Hopefully everything is clear or should be just by looking at this image. If not, everything is in a handbook Improving P4, which I promptly have open over here. Everything that you need is basically accessible from this page. It's also here, is Manage, Improve P4. So, I mean, you get just a quickly brief idea on what is the high-level roadmap or let's say we call it versions. So basically, for each version, we have a major, let's say, new functionality or aim to achieve. So in the one that will come very soon is the MLP, Minimum Lovable Product, which is mostly around login options. And so the version 3, 4, 5, and 6, all of them basically are shipped with a new kind of big functionality. And you can totally go either in full details, just checking the Medium post, or just remain high level, knowing which big feature corresponds to which version. The idea behind making this process, the process of requesting new features and see what's coming up in the pipeline, came really with an idea behind making it transparent, inclusive. And also informed of what is the big need of the NROs. So we came up with a very simple tool, in our opinion. It took us a little while, but we managed. It's a plugin that is called Idea Push that we customize according to what we need. The plugin is accessible always in Improving P4, just right below here. You can also access it using the links that you have in the menu. But the idea is that Andrada and I are going to show you now, hopefully, because you learn by doing what is the real case. So, long story short, Andrada is going to let's say, have an idea and try to submit it using this tool. Before we start, I just would like to say two things. One, that the list is available to everyone because the handbook is a public website. So if you just copy the link and open a new incognito tab and just paste it, people will be able to see the lists. Okay. However, people can only be able to submit new ideas and vote on existing features while being logged in. Okay. So I see the buttons and the votes, but I cannot log in. I cannot vote if I'm not logged in. So that's just a bit of a disclaimer. Andrada.
Yep.
Do you want to go and start sharing your screen
Yes.
while go?
Yeah, I think you have to stop yours. Otherwise, I can't share mine. Okay, there we go. So now people should see my screen, right? Okay. So as Luca was saying, you cannot vote or request a new P4 feature without being logged in. So you have to log in the handbook with the Google account. I am doing with the Google account. You can also have an ID and a password, another password. Just a second. There we go. And I will copy something from something I did some time ago. I want to be able to choose exactly which publications appear, for example, in the content for column block, based also on IDs, not only tags. Here in the tag field, this will be filled in by Luca or whoever else will have a look after we submit this. if there's an image to be attached, you can attach an image. It's not a situation here. Who will this request affect? It will affect the web editor, the person who is editing a post. I want to, again, I will copy this thing because this is what I want to copy so that I am able to customize exactly my content page. Is this feature something your office is already working on? No. And here you have to fill in which office you are on. And then you just click on push. And the idea has been submitted and will be reviewed soon. And I think that's it, right, Luca?
Fantastic, Andrada. Please stop sharing. I'm going to take it from here because I want to show you what happens in the backend.
Thank you.
So what happens in the backend is that I or Kelly or Laura have received an email that a new idea has been submitted. So there is even a tiny automation for notifications. And what's happening is that if you have to be a handbook admin to access the full list of ideas. So by going into the just a regular Planet 4 dashboard and the idea push bit, this is the full list. As you can see, there is a lot of ideas already that are being evaluated, and this is the latest one that Andrada has submitted. So why is it not published yet? Is it not available for voting? Because the product team, so Kelly, myself, Laura, the folks from Dev, they want to have a look at this idea first, tag it appropriately, and see how it is placed versus the big epics, which is the following. So what's going to physically happen is that whoever will cross-check the idea will have a look at what the idea is if it's in the right format, if it has been submitted correctly, if it's clear enough, even for non-native English speaker, and so on and so on. Cross-check it versus the list of features that we are about to release, which represents basically the roadmap broken down into epics. As you can see, you have as the role, what kind of is the high-level type of the feature, if it's part of the prototype or the different versions. And obviously go back into the idea itself, which is nothing else other than a post, and tag it either on the roadmap or not on the roadmap. Okay, so it's really simple. I mean, the on the roadmap obviously means that the Planet 4 team believes it's an idea that fits within the broader concept of the product itself, and we are interested in developing it. When we don't necessarily know, because we are not a software development company, so we don't have 600 devs ready to do and ship our things. But that this is something that it's on the to-do list, let's put it this way. Whereas something that is tagged potentially not on the roadmap, it's something that, as of now, it doesn't fit within the broader scope of the tool itself. So, for example, a feature request or an idea saying, I want volunteers to gather via Planet 4. As of now, it doesn't seem to be something applicable, but maybe it will be in the future. Okay, so this is why we are applying these tags. The first of which being on the roadmap, and the second being, for example, UX, UI, or front end, or whatever. I don't even remember all of them. Okay, so let's say that we have checked so all the fields name are up here. So in case the information that Andrada provided in her description is not comprehensive enough, we can also maybe integrate it with whatever she put in so that I can, or other details. What will also happen while Kelly and Laura are doing this is that they are opening and they are doing the same in Jira, which is our ticket management tool. Is where we assign stories, where we assign tasks, and where we report official bugs for the development team to work on. All right. In case this new feature will be tagged as part of the roadmap, they will create a Jira ticket for that so that it remains in the tool and it remains under our radar. If you go in the Planet 4 board, you may see that you have different ideas tagged with different labels, as we call them. Each one of them corresponds to a specific area of work that we want to improve. Now, of course, it depends how urgent this is or how popular this is. We're going to go into the popular 1 second. Okay. So after all this back office work is done, the idea is ready to be published. So it's ready for the folks to use. What's going to happen? Damn it. I need to. Okay. This is the one. So once the idea is done, maybe if the feature image is not uploaded, as is in this case, Kelly or Laura may also want to add a featured image that help people understand the issue itself. Okay. Of course, if the Jira ticket exists, Laura and Kelly may also include it for people to access it. And access the story itself. Right. So once all the fields are done, let's say that this is a UX UI idea or whatever, it's all good. Well done, Andrada. Let's see how popular it gets. We just hit it publish, and if everything works all right, we'll just refresh this, and the idea of Andrada should be in there. Already open for votes. That's the status that it should have. Okay. As default, it pulls up the most popular ideas. That's because we want to have a look at really which one are the most popular. But you can totally filter using these ones, using the status or the idea or the different status of the idea itself, review, contribute, and so on. All right. And also you can also filter by tags. And that's Andrada's idea. It, of course, has already one idea because, when someone submits it, we implicitly assume that she is voting for it. Andrada, however, will not be able to vote for her idea in the future. All right. And myself, Luca, as a user, as an admin, as a user, I can also find more details about what this idea is, either by clicking on the idea itself, which is going to take me to the idea page. Obviously, folks that don't have admin rights will not see this admin function. We'll just see these tags, which are the fields of the form when you submit an idea, and the description that we just saw a minute ago. And if I like it, I can vote it, say, yeah, that's cool. I can even click on the tags on the roadmap or whatever to see all the ideas that are related to the same topic or that are part of the roadmap. Last but not least, what's going to happen if obviously we want to stimulate creativity and people just to submit as many ideas as they want and to vote as much as they want. As you can see, I can vote for as many ideas as I want, but not on my own, of course. What's going to happen if, for example, all the ideas that you see over here are on the roadmap? Because luckily people know more or less what's the scope of Planet 4, so we don't know necessarily when we are going to build it, but we will eventually, and we will also label them with the contribute. So in case an idea that is on the roadmap gets very popular, it fits the vision, it's really good, it's going to pass from open for vote to a contribute label, which is green. This means that, yes, we will work on it, we have to work on it, but we need the potentially help from contributors, which can be, partner agencies, volunteers, open sources, whoever. Okay. Or even developers from the offices. But what's going to happen to an idea that is like this one, for example, not on the roadmap? So this is an idea that has been tagged as not being part of the scope, or not being fitting with the broader concept of Client 4, or just not being fitting as of now, as with the industry standards that we are also following when improving the tool. Let's say that, for example, this idea that is not on the roadmap gets 200 votes, or let's be more realistic, 50 votes, means that it's really, really popular. What's going to happen is that the product team will review this list and decide whether to change the status from not on the roadmap to be on the roadmap, because the product and the product development must be flexible and adjust to what is the need of the business. So in case in the first place this didn't seem to be appropriate to include in the roadmap, but it will be, because people really actually think, that's a good feature, I could really use that. Then it's totally up for reconsideration, and we will include it in the roadmap and eventually seek for help. On the contraire, if the feature remains in the roadmap and gets very popular, the team has obviously access to all the thumbs up that people give. And people can just sit down together and develop the feature independently, only for their child teams. What I just discussed over here is hopefully well explained in the process. Okay, so just to recap, new functionality, Andrada has an idea. If it's already in the list, hopefully she will vote for it. If it's not, she will submit her idea. The Client 4 team will check whether the feature is or not on the roadmap. If it's yes, then it's all good. Well, the idea will be published either way. So it will be just tagged on the roadmap if it's part of the overall plan, or not if it's not yet. According to the idea popularity, the roadmap may change in terms of including the idea that is not currently on the roadmap, or it may change also in terms of priority. All right. So yes, the idea is developed, is prioritized. We just rock it. Or no means that yes, we need it, but at the moment it's not a priority. That's where really the help of the people in the NROs, if they are dev resources or open sources or volunteer, is needed. The case, the idea is developed, if Client 4 release is out, the core product includes this new idea, it's all good. Or in this case, in the case that the idea is being developed independently by an NRO, it's all good. It's great. The idea is there. The feature is available if other NROs in the future want to have it. That's why it's important to write either an update or a case study in the handbook, or to just ship it in the email, and we will create the case study on the handbook, because it's important to leave instructions in case other people see that this feature is useful. Kelly, Andrada, did I forget something to mention? I guess I went through all the steps, but
I think you covered it all.
Cool.
I could add a couple things. Hi. After the idea is, if it is on the roadmap and we put it in Jira, once it starts to get into a sprint, once I put it into our planning for that week, the idea push, sorry, I forgot the name of the product, is updated. And so the status will change to in development. And then once it gets developed and is pushed out and released, the status again will change to shipped. Each time the status is changed, whether it's open, decline, contribute, in development, or shipped, the author, whoever wrote the idea, will get an email notification, and anybody who voted for it will also get an email notification. And I will get an email notification.
Supporter journey.
Yes. I think you got everything else though, Luca.
Cool.
Great job. Thank you.